Good evening and welcome to Crosstalk. Now, this is basically a program where we look at some of the things happening in this country and we put a cross right inside the current affairs of Kenya. And one of the things that we're going to look at today is faith and governance. Where does the cross come in? To help us get a better understanding of this, I have Elder John Ng'ang'a, who is an author. I mean, he's written quite a number of books. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes. And then we have Dr. Peter Mutua, who is a governance specialist. Karibu sana.
Asante, asante. Thank you very much, Fred, for having us here.
All right. Now, I don't think there was a time ever in the politics of the country of Kenya that the aspects of faith and governance were spoken of like they're being spoken of or have been spoken of during this time. Now, how do we marry these two? And is there a possibility?
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Joya who was asked about integrating faith
Yes.
and profession.
Yes.
And he says, the very fact that you ask a question means there's no faith. Because a dog
Yes.
is not taught how to bark.
Yes.
He just barks.
Yes.
So you can't ask the dog and barking to marry them.
Yes.
It comes automatically.
Yes.
So if you have faith,
Yes.
you have integrity.
Yes.
If you have no integrity, it's because you actually don't have faith.
Yes.
So the bigger question is, how would we get people to have real faith?
Mm-hmm.
James says, faith without works is dead.
Yes.
In other words, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
In fact, you are lying. There is no faith.
Yes.
If you have faith,
Yes.
your works will show me.
Yes.
In fact, I keep saying, the way to know what somebody believes,
Yes.
just watch the way he acts. If somebody is stealing,
Yes.
he can say, I believe in God.
Yes.
But you see clearly he doesn't believe in God as a provider.
Yes.
Because if you believe God can provide,
He
you'll
would
not steal.
Yes.
Stealing is proof that he has no faith in God.
Yes.
So that's where we start, by admitting that a lot of people who claim to have faith,
Yes.
the book of James is saying it's non-existent.
Yes.
Having said that, we need also to understand that although we claim that Kenya is 80% Christian,
Yes. We must be a very faithless nation.
I don't think anybody lies to himself.
Yes.
That you mean these people are practicing Christians.
Yes.
What you mean is they were baptized.
Yes.
What you mean is that they grew up in Christian families. Because faith is personal.
Yes.
You cannot pass it on to your children.
Yeah.
You can talk to them. When they're adult, they have to make up their mind whether to accept it or not. And it's very important to understand that if they don't accept it, you can't force it on them.
Yes.
And that therefore means that everybody, even if they are the bishop's son, must come to a decision. I want the Lord to be my Savior and Lord. I'm willing to commit myself to be led by Him.
They must make that decision.
They must
themselves.
make that decision. And so that's the beginning of good governance, of ethics, of everything else. And I think that's where we start. We need
Now,
to start.
when I look at, and probably we have a very good opportunity with this government, because there's been a lot of acknowledgement of, the faith aspect. Kenya is, in terms of corruption, we are way up there. I think after Satan and then Nigeria, Kenya comes third. But we also say that we believe in Jesus. So we have a great opportunity to literally show it. How do we now move in, show governance, great governance, and faith?
First of all, allow me to say that this is not the first time we're seeing faith in governance.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, it isn't. And you're...
There was a time
done a lot
faith,
of voice every Sunday. I mean that it's and maybe you're not talking about faith, you're talking about religion.
Yes.
And I think we need to differentiate here. Are we talking about religion or are we really talking about faith?
Faith.
Our brother is talking about, because if you're talking about faith,
yes,
faith precludes some of the things that we do. Faith dictates that I believe God to the extent that no matter if I die in this particular situation, I'd rather die believing that God will come to my rescue than attempt to do any other, adopt any other mechanism. Okay, but religion, on the other hand, religion can even justify things that God helps those who help themselves. That is religion. A person will think like that and will justify it. And we need to differentiate whether this is a faith situation or whether this is a religion situation, because they are altogether different things. From a religious perspective, this is a repeat from exactly what happened from 1978, where you turn your belief or your denomination into a political tool and you use it to gather people together, because it's very difficult to question. When a person is raising up their hands in worship or reading or having the Bible brought to them and they say all the right words and all the same things, you feel obliged to excuse them. Unajua, these are the difficulties of government, and that's why let's forgive him. So let's differentiate. Those, they're different things.
There's religion and there's faith.
Those are different things. Now, faith in terms of governance is what happened in the time of Jehoshaphat, where you come into a situation where the things have broken down. There's idolatry, everything. And you have no other way of operating unless you believe it God. And the enemies are watching you. So that is faith. That faith to take on a system and bring it down, bring down religious symbols of other religions and bring them down courageously, it takes faith. The same thing with Hezekiah. It's a matter of faith. It was not religion.
The fact that you believe when I do this, God will be on this side.
He will show up and he'll help me do the things I need to do. And
now let's bring it down so that we are not talking theory.
Right. This is not theory. These are Bible events.
Exactly. Now let's bring it to today.
Kenya.
Kenya, daily experiences. You operated in the private sector. I don't know whether you've operated in the public sector. The level of corruption is unbelievable. I mean, it seems easier to bribe somebody than to go through the system. Have you ever found yourself at a situation where you had to decide and the rewards of corruption were really juicy? And here you are, because you said faith is not what I say, it's what I do.
Yeah. I left university just over 45 years ago.
Wow. And
I still remember in 1977 working for a government bank. And it didn't take weeks for me to be in trouble. Weeks. Because I came one morning. And we used to have a register in the accounting department. We used to have a register where you filled your name and the time you have arrived. So that day I came late. By 10 minutes. So I just wrote 8:05. And went and sat on my desk. But I could see people are looking at me in a strange way. Then I check, am I badly dressed? Exactly what the problem is. And around lunch hours when some lady came and confronted me, young man, what's wrong with you? I said, have I done anything wrong? Why did you report all of us that we came late? I said, me? I didn't report. I haven't reported anybody. No, you did. Are you not the one who wrote that you arrived at 8:10? Yes. Nobody can write below me.
Let's come earlier.
So anybody who came after 8:10, even the ones who came at 9, wrote 8:10. So I had caused a lot of people to be recorded late. So I said, my intention was not to report anybody.
But you ended up.
I was only talking about myself. I told him, you better pray I never come late again. Because even next time I come,
I will just do the same.
I cannot write the wrong thing. And my young man, these are old people. I said, let me be honest. Even next time I come late, I will still write the correct time. Within no time, the end of the month came. And I was told I cannot be paid my house allowance until I prove with a receipt where I'm staying. Because that's what the personnel manager, those days they were not called HR manager, they were called personnel manager. For him to allow the money into your salary, you have to produce a receipt of where you are renting. But I was staying with my sister.
Yes.
I was still looking for a house.
Yes.
So I was unable to lie.
Yes.
Or rather not willing to lie.
Yes.
So I said, if God has given me a job, He'll give me a house.
Yes.
So I just I just allowed. 1 month went, another month went, a third month went. One of my friends told me, what kind of foolishness is this? You think a bank requires your money? Why are you donating money? I said, when? You are not, I hear your money, your house allowance is still going with the company.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm waiting to get a house.
Yes.
No, just walk. I was on 18th floor of was one of the highest buildings that time.
Yes.
I was on 18th floor, so just walk downstairs. Where do you think we got our receipt from? Talk to the newspaper guy.
Yes.
He'll just give you a receipt. Then you'll go upstairs and give it to the personnel manager.
Yes.
Mambo kuisha.
Dr. Peter, have you found yourself in such a situation?
Oh, repeatedly. And again, like he's saying, when I was young, I only graduated maybe 25 years ago.
Yes.
And when you're young in faith, in my view, it's very easy to stand up to those things. And
yes.
And the challenge is, as we get older, and maybe he has a different view on it,
yes.
Because when I was young, I was very idealistic. And I believed, and I still, of course, am idealistic. But you come across situations where the main challenge is that, I think we mentioned this before, that the person who is guiding you along those corrupt paths is a fellow Christian. In fact, a person you look up to, who can put aside the Christianity and say, now, you know what?
Let's be practical.
Yeah, let's be this situation, hii kitu, hainanga story ingine, hii itatatuliwa hivi. And some of them are the age of your parents, some of them are age of people you look up, and the people you look up to, who have testimonies, who are well respected. And I think for me, that's where the biggest challenge has come. Yes. Where you find yourself in that situation where the very person who should have ideally been guiding you along the other path is the one who is now taking you. And it's that has been my most difficult.
So this is probably what is causing when we talk about faith and governance, we end up having faith in words, but we don't see the fruit of faith.
Because
within
the faith doesn't exist.
It doesn't. That's really
yes.
It's really
the truth is, if you have faith,
yes,
you'll be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes.
Who know you cannot worship other than Jehovah.
Yes.
Then the king tells you, if you joke, I'll throw you in the fire.
Yes.
You just have to tell the king, I actually don't want to burn in the fire.
Yeah.
But if it comes to that,
yes,
God will be with me in the fire.
Yes.
And that is the experience of daily. It's continuous.
Yes.
I'd rather lose a job,
yes, than lose God. Hold on to that. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue looking at faith and governance and how real faith truly needs to impact governance. I think this is a great conversation.
Beginning tomorrow on the Jam 316 Devotional Hour, we get into our theme of the week as we talk about practical love, which is also the theme for the prayer week we are having beginning tomorrow. Make sure you tune in from 6 in the morning as we will be looking at different aspects of practical love. How do we demonstrate the love of God to our friends, to our neighbors, to our enemies? Make sure you wake up in the morning because Jam 316 is the best way to kickstart your day.
Welcome back to Crosstalk, and just in case you're joining us, tonight we are looking at faith and governance, and what is coming out so clearly here is that what we've been calling faith in this country is truly not faith. We've just been very religious people, and that's why we are not impacting governance the way we are supposed to. Dr. Peter, let me come to you. Listening to the conversation of Elder John, I mean, situations where higher powers, higher authorities are pressing down on you to try and cause you to do things that are not right. Now, when you look at the opportunity we have now, we have a president who confesses to be a Christian. The wife, at least we know she's very committed Christian. We have a deputy president. I don't know whether he's committed. He has expressed himself that he is a born-again Christian. But we know the wife is very committed. We have a great opportunity to ensure that with this makeup, we can be able to deal a death blow to some of the things that have caused our country to go down by their faith. How do we now manifest what we are talking about for them?
First of all, allow me to say, faith is personal.
Yes.
As our brother has mentioned, the fact that my lovely wife is a committed Christian should not be taken to me.
that you're a committed Christian.
You understand?
Yes.
And he has said it. I think he said it clearly. And we need to get that as Christians.
Yes.
No matter how well behaved my child is, no matter how honest my child is, that doesn't mean necessarily that if I get it from home to start with. Okay, so let that be clear. Secondly, and I think I've stated this before, God has the ability to act with or without individuals.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
That you can believe God, and God can actually take action and decide, even with evil kings.
Yes.
Forget about it. Even with evil kings, God can decide, I'm going to bring my purposes to pass. And the case in point was Ahab and Elijah.
Yes.
God found a way to discipline the nation of Israel through a prophet, and the king and his wife were completely evil. In fact, the Bible says that there has never been a man as evil as Ahab was, egged on by his wife Jezebel, who continuously devised evil ways. As they sit, when you have a board meeting, what else can we do?
It's just evil.
What worse can you do? You understand?
Yes.
And God can still manifest. So this is an opportunity, yes. Okay, but this faith, as our brother is saying, must come to life.
Yes.
We cannot count on religious services. We cannot count on us singing hymns, on us praying, which are good things.
Yes.
But that cannot be the source of a transformation. There must be a place where there are things that we first acknowledge, that the issues that face us are beyond the human capacity, intellectual leadership and knowledge. We do not have the capacity to deal even with corruption at the level at which it exists now. Because now, as it is, corruption is an enterprise. When you look at the traffic police,
corruption is
an enterprise.
It's a business
enterprise. It's not, and it has deliverables, it has branches, it has branch managers, it has all the way. You understand? It has a CEO, it has a CFO, it has a chairman. You understand?
Yes.
That this is not, these are not individual acts of one officer acting against the law. This is a system. And for you to bring down a system like this, it takes God. It's only God who can tell you now, begin to undo this one. Start with this.
Yes.
Because again, it's not something you can take head on.
Yes.
It's God to give you the knowledge and the wisdom. And these things can only be found from God. These things can only be found from sitting at God's feet, acknowledging that this thing is beyond human operation. I need God's wisdom. And it is God who can do that and tell you, begin like this. This is a strategy. And the strategies are different. From the police, it will be different to lands, to be different from county government. It's different.
Yes.
And if you do that, then you become like David, where David operated in faith in God, depending on God for strategies, and coming with the strategies that God had given him. So yes, it is true. We have this opportunity, as you clearly stated. It is good to see prayer take a forefront. It is good to see people praying in public. It is good to see God's name invoked. But at the end of the day, if we do not come to God to give us the knowledge and the wisdom, it will end in failure, because there is no human being who can undo themselves, who can undo this system the way it is.
Yeah, but maybe let me suggest a number of things.
Yes.
I'm looking at my fingers, 4 of them. Number 1, we must separate the church and state.
Yes.
Is it possible? The mix-up will actually mess up our objective. Our objective is to see faith in action, in governance. That's why we're having this discussion. If you mix the state and church together, what got lost is that faith. Because now, if you don't go to church, the government can punish you. And they don't have to beat you up, they just don't appoint you, they don't have whatever because you are not Christian. That's something that we need to keep aside. The church and state must stay separate. What is different is then the Christian who becomes a governor is then the one to take his faith to his office. But he is as a person, not as a church. That's the first thing we must do. We must ensure that the church and state are not one thing. Because there's a clear role for the church, there's a clear role for the government, and they first of all check each other. Number two, it will be very, very important, very important that the church is frank to the state. The idea of singing songs to the politicians, how wonderful they are, will not help them. The work of a prophet is to bring the nation to order according to what God wants done. How will you do that when you are in the politician's pocket? So the second thing is, we must of necessity talk. NCCK must continue being NCCK. The Catholic bishop must continue being Catholic bishops. And since you are not talking about a Christian, there's not such a thing as a Christian government. It's just a government. So you don't feel like you are criticizing the government. Because the president, even if the president is born again, the government isn't born again. So it's important.
The entity is,
So it will be important that we as a church must see how things are going and speak on behalf of the church, pointing out the political people what God wants them to do. And I think that's something we need to pray actually happens continuously. Thirdly and importantly, we need discipleship. Because these people that we are saying are going to take their faith to be governors, every Sunday they are in church. But what do you do in church? Oh, we say, oh, Mheshimiwa is here. Come and greet the people. Now, and even the sermon you heard, you change to not be appropriate for the
Mheshimiwa.
But how is he going to practice Christianity in politics if the pastor is failing to disciple him? My final point, if we reiterate, because you are trying to answer the question, how can you get the faith into governance? I think it will be very, very important that the church does not look for favors
from the state,
from government. The church is entitled to certain things in government, not favors, but there is an entitlement. Just like the Muslims are entitled, the church can be entitled according to our taxes and what our laws say.
The church is basically us. It's individuals. And most of the time we tend to look at our Christian leaders as the church. We are the ones who are supposed to go in there and change this. As we bring down the curtains on the show, how would you speak to this Christian who's in either public or private practice, and he's the one, like you're saying, who was leading you into ways and telling you things of Christ, we do them Christ way, things of business, we do them business way?
I think what we need to accept is that there's no situation so dire that it cannot be reversed by God. There's none. If I can be born again, a born again believer, knowing the condition in which I was, then God can reverse any condition. And I think we need to begin to go back to that basic, to understand that there is nothing, God doesn't need our help. I remember being told when I was a young Christian in the church, we were coming lazily and look at the pastor badly, the service is lasting too long. And the pastor told us, God doesn't really need us in church on a Sunday. He doesn't need your money. He doesn't need your time. He can accomplish all these things without you. Without you, completely.
Yes.
And we need to recognize that if we go to God,
Yes.
God can give us the way we need to get out. And then the thing is this, that it is better for all of us, because once we begin to experience a shalom of management,
yes,
once we begin to see a well-managed economy,
yes,
once we begin to see well-managed institutions, a well-managed police force, a well-managed prison force, even so for those who go wrong, you will be amazed at the transformative impact it can have to society,
yes,
because government reaches everywhere. So I'd want people to believe,
yes,
and to know,
yes,
that this God who we serve can deal with this system, and he can deliver, yes, the management, the shalom of management.
We say we have faith. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. If we act out our faith in whatever place we are, then the entire country will change. That is what God is waiting on. So be the change you want to see. God bless you.